Sportsman? It's Lamont. We are back with another podcast episode, and tonight we had a epic game, and the live stream was crazy. Lots of emotion up in this game. Highs, lows for both teams. But definitely, if you were looking for a great game, if you were itching for a historic matchup between two powerhouses where we really didn't know who would win, this was the match for you. As most of you guys already know, the Milwaukee Bucks outlast the Brooklyn Nets 115-111 in overtime. We're going to bring you all the facts on this game, what happened. Giannis Antetokounmpo with a big night, 40 points and 13 rebounds, but KD also with a monster night himself, 48 points to lead the Brooklyn Nets. But unfortunately, the Brooklyn Nets, man, just couldn't overcome some of the powerhouse performances by some of these Milwaukee Bucks players. We're going to get to all of that here in a second. Before we get started with the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. The grind is real. Our next grind is to 50K subscribers. We just surpassed 25K. Salute to you guys for helping make that happen. But, today, we got to break this game down right here. As we did the live stream, one of the things that I talked about in this particular game, one of the key factors, and I kept saying this, I watched it in the first quarter, I watched it in the second quarter, and it really became clear that this would be a problem going down the stretch of this game, and it was the minutes. Steve Nash decided to play his starters essentially the entire game. The bench gave absolutely no help in this game, and he just wanted to ride this game 7. He wanted to ride his starters till the wheels fell off. Those are the guys that he trusted, and the results are the results. Ultimately, the Brooklyn Nets fall. We're going to go ahead and get to the drawing board so we can break down what went wrong for the Brooklyn Nets in this performance at home in the game, and many thought that the Brooklyn Nets, even though they were a bit shorthanded without Kyrie Irving, James Harden still hampered with that hamstring injury, many people thought that the Brooklyn Nets could still skate by and slide into the Eastern Conference Finals to face either the Sixers or the Hawks. Unfortunately, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he had other plans. Let's go ahead and get to the drawing board to break down those highlights. All right, we got Kevin Durant. So far in this game, again, he had played up into the fourth quarter. He had played every single minute of this game, along with James Harden. And there we go. We're going to start here in the fourth quarter where he knocked down a critical shot. This was really a back and forth game, which you thought, especially coming down the stretch. I didn't think that Milwaukee had the point guard play. And after we saw this dunk right here in the end one, the Brooklyn Nets go up 4. I really thought that they didn't have the point guard play and the discipline to get enough stops and scores to catch up. Ultimately, they did. Drew Holiday came through in the end, but we got James Harden right here. He's going to KD. 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we saw a lot of this all night. One-on-one play with KD. Going one-on-one with either Middleton, PJ Tucker, or Drew Holiday, and they stayed all of them. They committed to just playing a one-on-one, but as we see right there, James Harden hits the lucky 3 off the glass, puts them up 5. It's 99 one-on-one right here. Drew Holiday, again, great roll and one layup by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Man, the man had 40 points. He just seemed like he was going to do whatever it takes to wheel this team to victory. He comes up short on that free throw right here. And the Bucks get a very critical possession right here. This is where many thought the game was over. All right, Drew Holiday clears it out. He struggled all night for the most night until the fourth quarter. He hits a step back 3 right there on Joe Harris. Puts the Bucks up 3 points, 104-101. That man Kevin Durant had other plans. He was not going to let the Nets go down without a fight. Hits the mid-range jumper over PJ Tucker. The Nets come right back. Critical play right here. Brook Lopez probably should have shot the shot. Instead, he makes a bad pass out to Middleton. They turn the ball over as the shot clock runs out, and they give Kevin Durant one more chance at this game, and he hits a miraculous jumper over PJ Tucker. Initially thought it was the 3. The refs saw that his foot was on the line. They rule it a 2, ties the game up, sends it into overtime. So now we have another 5 minutes of action to see who heads to the Eastern Conference Finals. And man, you know what? Giannis right here, as we see, not clutch at all. Bricks it off the side of the backboard. We head over to overtime. Nets did a really good job of blowing that pay. As we head into overtime, again, this is an overtime where everybody struggled to score. But late in that overtime, Giannis with a big clutch basket to tie the game over Kevin Durant. And then we see Middleton. He gets to his spot. They leave the smaller Bruce Brown on him. He hits the turnaround jumper over him. They take the lead with 40 seconds left. Not much scoring in that overtime, but that was one of the few crucial baskets. As we see right here, Jrue Holiday, excellent D on Kevin Durant. All right, doesn't foul. And Kevin Durant air mails the last shot of the game, essentially ending the season for the Brooklyn Nets. And we see Kevin Durant right there, a bit distraught. PJ Tucker celebrating, Kevin Durant hugging his mom. And the Bucks move on to the Eastern Conference Finals, 115-111. Man, what a game we had right there. Man, and I tell you guys right now, if you guys haven't been to one of our live streams as we do the play-by-play reaction, you guys might want to start tuning in to those play-by-play reactions, because with some of the special guests that we have on the live call-in show, I'm talking about it was crazy, man. We had people screaming, going crazy, especially at the end of the game. You know, KD's hitting clutch shots here and there. All right, the Bucks in overtime are getting stop after stop. The refs are calling crazy calls here and there, and it was a ruckus. But I mean, man, over 30,000 people chimed in to check out that live stream. I'm talking about it was an awesome experience. Man, if you haven't been to one of our live streams, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching from Newsbreak or any other platform, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell here on YouTube, because man, you're gonna have to tune in to these live streams, man. That was one of our best streams ever. But let's get to the stats of this particular game right here. We're gonna talk about the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets. I mean, look at all the starters. Kevin Durant, 53 minutes. Blake Griffin, 40 minutes. Joe Harris, 47 minutes. Bruce Brown, 52 minutes. And James Harden, 53 minutes. I'm talking about, and all they got from the bench, they got 13 minutes from Jeff Green, who on the night, he didn't give anything whatsoever other than 1 rebound and 3 personal fouls. And then we have Shamet, who played 7 minutes. He gave 1 rebound himself. 0 points from that Brooklyn Net bench, a bench that they had trusted all playoff series long. Well, we didn't see Claxton get much time. Mike James didn't get a minute of time, and I thought he would be able to come in and at least make a difference and give some of those guys a break like James Harden. Tyler Johnson didn't see any time, and that was ultimately the difference maker. And as I watched this game progress over the first quarter, and I said, man, they haven't made many subs. Then I started to check the minutes at the end, going into halftime. I said, man, the starters have played every minute of this game except for about 6 minutes. It looks like Steve Nash is going to ride his starters till the wheels fall off. And that's exactly what he did. Once he got into the third and those starters hadn't done anything with the lead, they went into halftime with a 6-point lead. All right, what did Milwaukee do? They took advantage of the fatigue. Immediately coming out of halftime, they ate that 6-point lead up. They actually took a 5-point lead themselves. And then those starters who were already fatigued found themselves battling back to try to retake that lead going into the fourth quarter. That's what made it a close battle going into the fourth, which, as you guys just saw from the highlights, it ultimately just went into overtime. But man, Kevin Durant, 48 points on the night, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Blake Griffin, 17 points, 11 rebounds. We have Joe Harris with 10 points, 3 of 10 shooting. Kind of a bit of a disappointing night. Bruce Brown did a lot of his work early with 14 points on 7 of 9 shooting. And then we got James Harden, who did a lot of his work from the free throw line. He went 10 of 10 from the free throw line, but he only shot 5 of 17. It looked like that hamstring was really bothering him. He couldn't get any lift, and he missed a wide open 3 late that really could have helped seal the deal for Brooklyn, and he actually missed that shot. So it really looked like that hamstring was really hampering him all night. And then ultimately, this Nets team not being able to go to the bench and utilize those guys to give the starters a break, it caught up in overtime as the Brooklyn Nets shot 1 of 12 in that overtime period. They couldn't get a shot to fall. They struggled to find any rhythm. It looked like they couldn't get their offense jump started because their guys were moving around a bit sluggish. And by that time, it was too late for Steve Nash to go to his bench. He couldn't trust those guys in overtime. But man, when we look at the Milwaukee Bucks, I mean, you talk about a team that just dug down deep and just said, we are not going to lose this game. Tough game on the road. Tough situation. That Brooklyn crowd was frantic. going crazy every time KD made a clutch bucket. But PJ Tucker, 11 points. He played 38 minutes. I mean, those 11 points, they needed all of those. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 40 points, 13 rebounds. Chris Middleton, 23 points, 10 rebounds. He struggled early, finished strong, and he actually closed with the game-winning bucket. Jrue Holiday struggled for most of the game, but he had those 2 clutch buckets in the fourth quarter. Brook Lopez, this man had 19 points, 8 rebounds, but he had 4 crucial blocks in the fourth quarter and overtime that really helped the Bucks get the necessary stops that they needed to win this game, and that was ultimately the difference. But I think the primary difference was when we look at the man who came off the bench. He's replacing DiVincenzo due to injury. Pat Connaughton played 23 minutes, and he actually came in. He scored 6 points early, but he hit a clutch 3 late when PJ Tucker fouled out. And that was ultimately the difference in the game. He had 9 points on the bench. So when we look at bench scoring, that was ultimately the difference. We have PJ Tucker. He had 11. He outscored Joe Harris. And then we have Pat Connaughton. He outscored the Brooklyn Nets bench 9-0. Those were the 2 factors. And Steve Nash, going into next season, they're going to have a lot of questions with only about 6 players under contract. They're $166 million in that cap. What can they do to build around this core group? All right, they can't really go. This team can't really go into free agency. They're gonna have to go with minimum contract guys. Are they gonna be able to bring Spencer Dinwiddie back? It looks like he's gonna go test the free agent market. All right, he's gonna want to get a payday. I mean, with Joe Harris making $17 million, Spencer Dinwiddie's probably gonna look to make about $20 million a year somewhere. Doesn't look like the Milwaukee Bucks have the cap space to pay him. Looks like Spencer Dinwiddie is gone. When we look at Blake Griffin, he played great. Did he give himself some more value? Did he buy himself another couple years in the NBA? Will he come back to this Brooklyn team on a minimum contract? That's not likely. Will the Brooklyn Nets pay him, all right, for another couple years of his service? I'm assuming he's going to want a multi-year deal, at least a 2 to 3 year deal, maybe with some player or team options. We got Bruce Brown, who's going to be a free agent, Tyler Johnson, Mike James. I mean, they got a number of questions with this roster, and this offseason is going to be a real puzzle for Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni. And again, there potentially could be some coaching shakeups. Mike D'Antoni is obviously interviewing for jobs with other teams. You also have Jacques Vaughn, who could potentially land a coaching job with some of these teams out here. So that coaching staff could see some shakeups as well. So this is why many say that this was a do or die year for the Brooklyn Nets. They didn't have much leeway. They sold out for championships. They invested all of their assets into Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. And then when some of those primary assets got compromised due to injury, you really were left extremely depleted, and you put a lot of weight on Kevin Durant's shoulders, and ultimately it was too much weight to carry as he could not overcome the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, who, they had a great regular season, especially coming on those last couple of months. Those last couple of months in the regular season, they really look like a team that can contend for a title. And now the Milwaukee Bucks find themselves in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're probably going to be playing. They're going to play either the Hawks or the Sixers. With that, the way that series is going, it looks like they may be playing the Sixers. But the way the Sixers have been giving up big second half leads, we never know. So they could either be playing one of those teams. Either way, the Bucks will probably be favored to come out the East, and more than likely favored overall out of all the teams remaining with the way they're playing. Phoenix is playing some great basketball, but the Clippers are dealing with injury issues with Kawhi Leonard. The Suns are dealing with pandemic and protocols and with CP3. When will those two guys be back? We don't know. So those two teams could be affected as well. So we have to say the Bucks are the favorite right now. But that's definitely one of the best games of the year. And that was actually for us one of our best live streams of the year, man. We're going to be going live tonight again as well. We're going to be covering both games. We have the Sixers, Hawks, and then we have the Suns, Clippers game. So that's going to be game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, game 7 of that Sixers, Bucks, or the Sixers, Hawks semifinal game to see who goes to the Eastern Conference Finals to play the Milwaukee Bucks. That was a great game. great effort by these Bucks players, and deservedly so, man. That they did not stop fighting. They had every reason to fold. The refs seemed to take momentum for them. A lot of calls didn't go their way. PJ Tucker fouled out, but they dug down deep. They came through in an overtime where both teams were struggling to score. Everyone was tired, and they found a way to win. And the Brooklyn Nets season ends on an air ball by Kevin Durant, man. So, again, let me know in the comments what you think about this game. What do you think the Brooklyn Nets could do next year to come back with a stronger roster? It doesn't look right now as if they have a lot of options. They may have to try to overpay to keep some of the guys that they have. Can they do that? Are they willing to go deep into that luxury tax and to keep Spencer Dinwiddie or maybe keep a Blake Griffin? Some of these guys, it's going to be hard to say right now. We'll just have to see how the offseason pans out. But as we have it right there, the Bucks advance, Brooklyn Nets are going home. But hey, it's FYF Sports, man. It's been another great podcast episode. Make sure you guys tune in to the live stream. Tune into the live stream tonight. We're going to be going live about 15 minutes before tip-off. We're going to be covering both games. You don't want to miss it. Again, if you haven't been to one of our NBA play-by-play videos, make sure you tune in tonight at FYF Sports, baby. It's FYF Sports, man. It's been another great podcast episode. We'll be back with more sports and news later, but until then, it's FYF Sports.